Hi everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about Nomad Sculpt. It is an app that I've downloaded on my iPad and it was $20 to download, but it is really easy to use. So I'm just going to be showing you guys kind of like the basics and how I like to use this app. So I have my iPad right here that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to screen record it for you guys. And today I'm just going to be sculpting this little llama toy just for a reference. So have an idea. So I'm going to start off by clicking this button up here and I'm going to click to just kind of change the color of my clay. And then I'm going to change the background color as well. So that way I can just kind of like see my clay a little bit better. Okay, it's pretty fine. And I guess to start off, I'll start off by doing the face. I have my grid tool here that kind of helps me see everything nice and centered. And I have my symmetrical tool up here. So when it's kind of red like that, I know that it's on. I have my little tool panel over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click the move button. Click on my circle. And I'm just going to start dragging. And you can see those two little dots kind of show the symmetry that is happening right now. And I'm just going to try to like make a mouth kind of shape. So with this tool, it's kind of like liquefying the clay and allowing it to be more malleable, and you can play with it a lot. So I'm going to fix the head a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And now, okay, yeah, I like that. So now I'm gonna go over here and I'm just gonna rename it. So that way I'm just nice and organized, and I'm just gonna call it the head. Okay, and then you're gonna go up here to your plus sign, and I'm gonna add a sphere. And you can go over here to this panel tool down here. It's called your gizmo. And I'm just gonna use this green arrow to lift it up. And this orange circle right here, you can make it bigger or smaller. So I'm gonna make it smaller, use my right arrow to drag it to the left, push it down so it's kind of like in the head a bit. You can also turn it to the side just to see how it looks. You can also use this cube at the upper right corner to kind of help you drag around, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and mirror that so it's on either side. Maybe drag it a little bit more out, and you're gonna go validate that. And I'm gonna go back to my move tool, and I will just play around to kind of make it more maybe like ovally shaped. That's pretty cute. I like that. Okay, cool. Back to the front. Go back to our panels. Up here, just rename that. It's the ears. Okay. And then we can go ahead and make the eyes as well. So add sphere, go back to my gizmo tool, bring it more to the front, make it smaller with that orange circle. You can lift it up, move it to the side, maybe something like that. And we could push it more into the head as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then maybe move it more forward as well, so it kind of sticks out of the head a little bit more. Okay, and then we can also mirror that as well and go ahead and validate that. And we can rename this as well. So name, and then these will be our eyes. Okay, so now we can start off by adding a neck. So we'll use a new shape here. We'll use our cylinder tool. I'm just going to use the orange circle, make it smaller, and drag it down with my green arrow. Let's kind of look at it in the side right now and see what that looks like. Make it a little bit bigger. Let's see. And you can also make it a little thinner if you want. And then we can make it longer as well. Oh, okay, I like that. That looks good. So we can go ahead and validate that. So that will be our neck. And you can see right here that it's kind of connected with my eyes right there. So I'm just gonna kind of take it out like that. So now it's no longer connected. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a body. So we'll do another sphere. Drag it down with a green arrow. Move it over to the side and just kind of bring it all together. So now with this, I'm gonna take the blue circle, kind of drag it out to make it a little bit longer. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead, validate, and I'll also take my move tool and just kind of adjust the back area a little bit. So maybe make this a little bit more arch-like. We can also like widen the back a bit. Just to give it more of a, I don't know, more curvy shape, I guess. All right, I think that's pretty good. And then that will be our body. So we'll go back to naming these just so we don't get confused. Body. And then this one was our neck. So rename that. There we go. And then we can also do the tail now. So let's add in a cute little tail. Again, my sphere tool. I feel like the sphere tool is very versatile, as you can see, as it can be kind of molded into any shape, really. And push it back in. And also, if you wanted to undo stuff, you could just use like double fingers. Kind of, if you ever used Procreate before, we double fingers, and then to kind of undo the undo, you use 3 fingers. So it just puts it right back. So, let's see. Maybe make it a tiny bit smaller. So I'm going to take that orange circle, make it smaller, push it a little bit back in. Let me lift it up. Just make sure that it's kind of connected and symmetrical as well. Push it in just a tad more. I'm going to validate that. I'm going to go back to my move tool, just kind of make it more of like a teardroppy shape. Okay, cool. So let's add in some legs. We need some legs for our llama. So for the legs, I'm going to do the cylinder again. Add cylinder and go back to gizmo tool. I'm going to drag it down, make it smaller, move it to the right, move it up. Let's see. I think that's a pretty good size for a leg. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it longer with my green circle here. Maybe move it a little bit more to the side. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. And another fun thing that you can do with the circle, if you click again on the gizmo, you have these kind of like little dots all around, and you can make it wider, you can make it smaller. So I think I might have it taper in just a bit. If you click again on the gizmo, it takes you back to the original tool. Okay, and then I will just mirror this so it's on the other side, like so. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to validate that. And now I'm going to add in some hooves. So I'm going to go add sphere. And I think it's okay that it's in the same grouping because it's kind of all together in a way. So I'll just leave that for now. And let's see. Drag it down. I'm just going to tote me to the back. Move to the front. There we go. Make it smaller, drag it. You can see that it's already mirrored since it was in that mirror grouping. That's okay. And just kind of line it up to where we see best fit. You can even make it like a little bit more like longer wise and drag it there. Okay. Maybe make it a little bit flatter. Just want to make sure the other cylinder isn't kind of like poking out anywhere, but that looks pretty good to me. So I'll go ahead and validate. And what I'm going to do to kind of create those like cutout of like the hooves that you see like this, I'm going to go ahead and take my trim tool and I'm going to go ahead with lasso because lasso allows you to draw however you want. And I'm going to make it move more up so I can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm just going to draw kind of like a hoof shape. Okay. You can see that's like a little rough right now, but we'll go ahead and smooth that out later. And I'm going to go to the side, and again with my trim tool, I'm going to now click on the rectangle and kind of cut out a more like flat shape for the hoof. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now that we have our two legs, I'm going to go ahead and click up here to kind of the layers panel and click on my mirror. That's really my legs, so I'll just rename that just so we don't get confused. Legs. You can see here that's our legs. This is our tail, so I'll rename that as well, just so we stay organized. And I'm going to go back to my legs. I'm going to click these three boxes up here, and I'm going to go ahead and voxel remesh this. So I'll do it to like 175-ish, remesh. And now this just kind of like forms it together. So you can kind of see that it's like more connected and like merged together. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and just rename it again. The legs. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clone it. Take my gizmo tool and move it to the back. So now we have 4 legs. Let's see. Zoom out just so we can kind of see everything better. I think that's fine. Okay, cool. And just everything is like more identical and consistent. So that's good. Okay, so I'm just gonna add one final thing to my little llama here. So I'm going to just kind of create little divots in the ear, and one way that I like to kind of create those divots is by using the mask tool down here. So I'm gonna select that, make sure I'm on the ears panel, and I'm going to just invert it and start kind of drawing the kind of shape that I want it to have. So let's see, maybe a little more rounder. Let me just restart. Maybe something like that then. And I'm just gonna go to the gizmo tool, turn it to the side, using my blue arrow and kind of put it inwards. So it creates a little kind of hole inside the ear. And then we could go back to mask and just put clear all. And we have little divots. Okay, cool. Okay, so now that I'm pretty happy with how my llama came out, I'm going to go ahead and kind of merge everything together using the voxel remesh. So first I'm going to go to my layers, and for the ears, I'm just going to go ahead and validate that. And I'm going to start selecting everything that I want. So I'm going to do the head, neck, legs, the tail, and the body. So we'll just leave the eyes out. And I'm gonna go ahead, we'll remesh that at 185. Okay, and you can see like a change has happened. So in order to kind of just like smooth everything out more, I'm just gonna zoom in using my smooth brush, just start smoothing everything out nicely. And since I have symmetry on, it is allowing me to do both sides at the same time. Flip it over. Just smoothing everything out, getting rid of any harsh edges as good as possible. Okay, and let's take a look at other areas. So we have the neck here. These areas should be pretty easy. Like the legs, for example. Move it around. So just doing swiping motions, and if you want, you can also change the size of your brush on this side here, the radius, so it covers more area. Okay, let's just do the tail, just like that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good, at least for now. The ears. Okay, there we go. I also keep in mind too, like when you do use this, it kind of reduces the clay in a way, so I'll just keep that in mind to maybe not overdo it sometimes. Okay, so everything is connected, and you can also see that here when you go to your layers panel, it is now all under body. So what I'm going to do now is go over here, go to Misc, and I'm going to unwrap it. Because now what I want to do, I want to take it into Procreate to color on top of it. You can do coloring on here. Like for example, we have the body selected. You just go to this little cube here, for example, and let's say I wanted it pink. You just do paint all. So you could color in here, but I kind of want to do it on Procreate. In order to do that, you need to unwrap your 3D model that you just made. So we have it unwrapped now. Now we can go up here. I'm just going to click save just to make sure everything is saved. Then you're going to export it as an OBJ. Click export. Okay, so now I have it opened up on Procreate right here, and I'm just gonna go to my layers panel, and you can kind of see how everything is separated automatically. So this right here is the eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and just drag my color and drop it. So that's pretty cool. You can use color drop in Procreate, kind of makes the process faster instead of just, scribbling away at your screen. So this is the next eye, just drag it in. And then we have our ears here. So my reference llama has this kind of cream ears. Let's just put it there. This is the face, just drag and drop. The neck is also the same color. We have the legs. Legs are also this color. And then we're going to the hooves. So the hooves would be like this color. So it's pretty simple process. I mean, when you zoom in, you can see that, some of the resolution quality has gone down, but we can still color it just the same. So this is the in-between. This is the bottom of the hooves. And then we have down here. And then our llama, we need to color the body. And then we're done. So you can also draw on your shapes, your 3D shapes that you have here. So for example, I can draw a face if I wanted to. Just something simple. Let's see, this face looks like this. So that's pretty cool. And then we can also go in on the eyes, for example, just add like small little details. And of course, you can always go, heavier in like the details and all like the fun things that you want to do with your character that you make. Just another detail. And then when you're done making your character, you can also import it back into Nomad Sculpt if you want. But going back to Nomad Sculpt, actually, I just remembered another fun thing that we can do is add texture to your 3D models. Okay, so I have one of the textures selected right here, and using my brush tool, you can just go ahead and kind of build up these textures. So I don't know, I thought that this one kind of gave a little bit of like a fur-like texture, at least from like one of their default ones. And then we can just build it up on the neck, for example. You can also take off symmetry so it doesn't look too perfect and symmetrical. Just go around, just add in that texture, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz, I guess. But yeah, and then we can go ahead and also import this in Procreate just to kind of see what this would look like. So let's make sure you export, Procreate. Let's go back here. Yeah, that's how it looks like with textures on Procreate. So it does capture them pretty well. But again, Procreate does like lower the resolution, for example. So this is what you could expect to see with coloring, with the textures. And also I just wanted to note that another thing with painting on Procreate, you can use any of Procreate's brushes or any brush that you download to color on top of your 3D model with. So you can have fun with all the different kinds of brushes that you can find on Procreate as well. But that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys learned more about how to 3D sculpt, especially using Nomad Sculpt, and also how it's like to put that into Procreate and use Procreate to paint on top. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Bye.